There's a high-tech weapon in the battle against coronavirus. DJI, the world's largest maker of consumer drones, is deploying its fleet of drones to spray disinfectant in potentially affected areas. For more, we're joined by Brendan Schulman. He's Vice President of Policy and Legal Affairs at DJI. Great to have you with us. Specifically, tell me what you're doing and how you're using drones, because I believe you're operating now in 1,000 counties in China.
Yeah, that's right. Actually, drones can do a lot of amazing things, and what we found lately is that we can use them to disperse disinfectant to help combat disease. And really, that's a matter of taking drones that were built for agricultural purposes, in other words, like pesticide and fertilizer, and converting them to use disinfectant. We're doing that. We have a commitment of $1.5 million, and this is now being done in conjunction with agricultural researchers across 1,000 counties in China.
Yes.
At the moment, we've got up to 250 square miles of land that's been done this way. It's 50 times faster than doing it by hand.
Wow. I guess there's also the distance benefits to some degree as well. You don't have people inhaling the chemicals, perhaps?
Exactly right. The people who are dispersing the disinfectant can now be very far away from the chemicals themselves, so it's also safer for the workers.
Wow. Okay. And 50 times faster, which makes perfect sense. What about what they're seeing? Have you captured images as well? I mean, we've seen pictures, and I've seen your pictures in Shenzhen as well, just to go back to the sort of point that we were talking about just there. It's very quiet. People are going out less, they're moving around less.
Well, the virus coincided with the Lunar New Year, so what effectively happened is that the vacation that people were taking already was extended an extra week. As of this week, people are back at work, they're working from home, they're following the health protocols that are recommended by the government, and of course we care most about the health of our workers there, and so they're following the protocols that are recommended.
That's interesting. Your employees are back at work, or are you still allowing a proportion of them to work from home?
That's correct.
You are?
Yes.
Yeah, so it's just going to take time to get back up to speed here.
Well, we haven't been substantially affected by this yet. I think it remains to be seen in the long term. How long does this last? What if any disruption is there? But our factories are back at work. We're producing the product, and thankfully our employees are safe and healthy.
What about supply chains here? Again, to go back to the conversation we were just having, what does that mean for your company? What's your sense here?
Well, we're a global technology company, so just like any other consumer device, we rely on components from the United States and from around the world. And our products, I mean, here's an example of one of our latest drones. So when we talk about drones, we're not talking about military systems. We're talking about a camera that can fly. And so this can take pictures, it can search for missing people. In fact, we've noted over 320 people have been rescued from peril. People who are missing, people who are in avalanches, floods, and fires, just using an aerial camera. And so the components that go into this are very much the same as you might find in your mobile telephone or your iPad or your laptop.
Okay, so you're giving me the reasons and the sort of hard sell on why this technology is good, but there is pushback. A couple of things that I want to talk to you about. The first one being this idea of a sort of blanket system for a database that knows exactly who's operating a drone where. What's that going to mean in practice? And I guess in terms of innovation too, does that mean that consumers will be like, wow, I'm not sure I want one after all?
Well, that's a great question. So one of the top policy priorities for the U.S. government and really around the world is what we call remote identification. That's basically like a license plate for drones, so that when the drones are flying, security officials, law enforcement, and even the public can have some assurance about who's flying the drone and are they authorized to be here. That's a great idea. We support it. In fact, we have built it into our products for the past 2.5 years. However, there's now a proposal from the FAA, the Federal Aviation Administration, on how to do that. And that proposal envisions connecting all the drones to a database system, as you suggested.
Even a drone like this?
This is slightly below the proposed weight limit, but something that's just a little bit heavier than this would have to connect. And the FAA anticipates monthly subscription fees just to use something a little bit bigger than this to fly in your backyard, take pictures of your vacation, or do something more productive like tower inspection or agriculture. So we support remote ID, but we're worried about the costs and burdens of doing it. From our perspective, all you need is a radio broadcast out to provide that ID information.
But the drone that caused the chaos in the UK airports, that would be covered, and you're in agreement with that kind of drone in some way being tracked?
We agree that all drones should be tracked if they could cause a problem. It's not clear what happened in Gatwick. A lot of uncertainty about that, whether there even was a drone. However, that scenario is something we need to guard against, and the way to do that is to have remote ID on all the drones out there that could cause a problem like that. And that way, the good ones, the legitimate ones, are identified to the authorities, and those that aren't stand out and action can be taken.
Very quickly, Chinese technology being used in federal operations, the restrictions that we're seeing, there's a real nervousness. Where do you stand on this?
It largely stems from political considerations. As you know, our products they're cameras that fly. They only take pictures of what you want to take pictures of.
But is the data safe?
The data is safe. None of that data comes automatically back to our offices or to our facilities. We have data security features built in, things called local data mode. Our government products developed for government agencies have been validated and tested by the Department of Homeland Security, CISA's contractors and laboratories, as well as the Department of the Interior. So we've taken affirmative, proactive measures in the absence of any standards that would tell us what to do to guard data, and we're confident that anyone using our product should be secure.